Critically talking, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen if we expose children to risk? If we expose children to adventures and experiences? For example, what's the worst can happen if you let the child to pour their own milk in a cup and you don't do it for them? The worst that can happen is that they could spill that whole milk and there isn't milk for them to take. That's the worst that can happen in that situation, isn't it? What's the worst that can happen if you let a child serve themselves food? So it's in a bowl with serving spoons, and you let them serve themselves. Like scoop the food and put it on their plate. The worst that can happen is that they could maybe spill the food, or um, if the food is hot, it could maybe steam off on their hand, or their plate could fall down. Like those are some of the worst situations that can happen in that situation. What's the worst that can happen if you let a child, um, what can I say? Like use a hammer to bang a nail into a piece of wood. What's the worst that can happen? I know they could hurt themselves, isn't it? Like they could literally hurt themselves. Like that's the worst that can happen. And probably you may have to do some first aid situation, or get a cream and put it on the hurt hand, and then that's literally it. Dear parents and teachers and caretakers, we must expose very young children to risk, manageable risk, measured risk, and to experiences and adventures, and expose them, because life will not always pamper the child, will it? So if you over pamper the child and you don't expose them to real life experiences, you're locking a lot of learning away from them. Maybe you're prepared to do things for them when they're 13. But if you want to empower very young children, measure the risk. Understand what the worst that can happen in that situation. And if you really see that your child is not going to be in so much danger, please allow children to do things by themselves. Let them use real tools. You thank Teacher Damali. I'm telling you, you look for me and say, Teacher Damali, we just came to say thank you. And I'll say, you're welcome. Please